Good evening, class of 2026, students, parents, and guardians. Welcome to College 101. As you entered the auditorium, hopefully you were able to grab one of the packets there. We would ask that you would take one per family. At this time, I'll introduce the counselors, starting with myself. My name is Melanie Brooks, and I have students alphabets P through SI. To my left here is Mr. Brian Fitzgerald. Next to him is Shayna Klein, Mr. Jim Fogel, Anthony Tony Medea, and Scott Merchant. And at this time, we will have Mr. Fitzgerald take over the program. Thank you for coming.
Good evening, everybody. Good to see the turnout we have right now. I find that this is a very informative evening. It's something I wish that my daughter's high school did for parents, because when my daughters were in high school and ended up in college, I really had no idea what they were doing behind the scenes. Since I've been here with this team and this staff, I've always been very impressed with how we take the kids through high school, especially right now, this point in junior year, give them sort of to-dos over the summer, and then really help them in the fall with the whole process of getting their applications submitted, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So hopefully you guys all find this very informative. Yep, this is College 101. Do we have a PTO rep here to speak to the all-night party? I think what they try to do is they get juniors and families of juniors to help volunteer for the current seniors. So there's information right here. You can scan that QR code, but just remember your turn will come next year where you can sit back and just let your senior celebrate to next year's junior parents doing the work. But they're looking for help. That all-night party is Sunday after the senior graduation, June 1st. It's here at the high school. It's a good time. Again, if you want to access to the slideshow that you're going to see right now, you can use the QR code. This will give you that access. It's also will be videotaped. Thank you, Vicki back there doing the taping, and this will eventually end up on our counseling website so you can watch the video probably within the week. And again, counselor assignments, we have myself through the A through C's, Fogel, D through G. Scott Merchant, if you want to stand up for a second. Scott is going to be replacing Mrs. Hollier Mattis for the students with the last names H through K. We're excited to have Scott on board, and he just came tonight to say hello and maybe shake some hands afterwards. Shayna Klein, L through O, Ms. Brooks, P through SI, and Mr. Medea finishing up the alphabet SJ through Z. Counseling office supports and resources. Counseling office does a lot around here. We have a lot of responsibilities, but as far as like post-high school information, you know, we help students set up college visits when we have admissions officers coming to the school to speak about their colleges. We help kids get registered and set up for the AP testing, scholarships, summer enrichment opportunities that maybe help them post-high school. We do the EDPs, which is the Education Development Plan, which we do in 9th grade, 10th grade, and 11th grade. We have college night. We have a financial aid night in the fall for many of you that probably should think about going to that if you haven't been to it yet. But we push out a lot of financial aid resources for helping offset the costs. And we do the college boot camp, which is something that we offer in the summertime for the current juniors, where they can come up in early August and spend a day with a couple counselors and an English teacher for their personal statements and their essays, and there will be a registration that we'll want you to sort of sign up for that so we know how many kids will be here. Junior year, this is the stuff that we have done with our juniors this year. We've worked through Zello with personality assessments, skills assessments. We had the kids start a college search using a couple of search engines, Big Future, College Board, Big Future, and Niche. We gave every junior a purple guidebook, post-secondary planning guide. I love this. Hopefully that you've seen this at home. We did this with the kids back in November. Again, there's a copy of this. You can access this digitally on our website as well. We've kind of reminded the juniors that this is a big year for them as far as academics. If they didn't have a great 9th and 10th grade, they can still show a sign of improvement by trajecting up, by working really hard in their classes this year. Hopefully they've done that. We've encouraged them to get involved, take leadership opportunities if they've been involved in clubs or extracurriculars. And in June this year, once we kind of finish school, you'll be receiving a letter in the mail, old-fashioned U.S. postal mail, and it will sort of have a little information about the transcript, because the transcript will be used to share with colleges when they do their applications, as well as making sure that they're taking the classes next year that they need to in order to graduate. That will be coming probably end of June. Difference between a 2-year college and a 4-year college. Obviously, a 2-year college gets you an associate's degree. The one around here is OCC. That's probably the one that comes to most people's mind. It's less expensive, obviously. The credits don't cost as much. Students can earn a vocational degree or a technical degree. They can take the credits at the community college or at the 2-year college and transfer them to a 4-year college and still end up with that 4-year college's diploma. Again, everybody's going to have pros and cons to both of these. The 4-year college is one that you're going to need to apply to. They're going to look at grades. They're going to look at the courses you've taken. They're going to look at, like, holistically, things you've been involved with in high school. And they're going to make a decision whether you'd be a good fit for that 4-year college. Yeah, that's it.
Good evening. I'm Shayna Klein. So to continue on, the rest of this presentation is going to largely focus on the college application process. So Mr. Fitzgerald kind of highlighted the differences between 2-year and 4-year. And with 2-year, since students generally fill out an application and enroll, it's not a competitive process, that sort of piece kind of ends there. The 4-year college application is much more nuanced and specific and has a lot more legwork to it. So the rest of this will kind of focus on that. So the college application, you guys will see that there's 2 different types of applications that you might be encountering. The common application and then also applications that are specific to any one university or college. The Common App is the same application that can be submitted to over 1,000 colleges. You fill out one sort of main part of the application and it's uniform and it goes to all the schools that are members of the Common App. They have a mobile app, which is great to use and definitely an advantage to having it on your phone, but we would never really recommend that you're filling out any of your college application on your phone. But if you wanted to look at something or reference something, having it easily accessible that way is a benefit, but definitely not what you should be using when you're filling it out. Within the Common Application, there's that one piece that's common among all schools, but then you'll also see that there is a section specific to each individual school, and you guys will be going through both pieces of that as you work through the Common Application. For a university-specific application, those are applications that are accessed directly through that individual college's website and is submitted only to that specific college. There are still some colleges out there that give the option for both. You can do the Common App or their specific university application. Generally, colleges will not say that they prefer one over another. It's just different platforms that are available to you. But we would generally say when you're working through this process, work smart. So if you have a school that's on the Common App that you're applying to that also has their own specific application to that university, it probably makes the most sense to just apply to that college through the Common App since you have to fill it out anyway. That decision is, of course, yours, but you will see that there are several, Michigan State, for example, one of our bigger feeder schools, is a school that offers either. So that's just one example. In addition to filling out your application, you guys will also be responsible for requesting your transcript to be sent to colleges. And there's a few different, or two different ways that that will be done. One method is through parchment, and this is new to us, so if you've had other seniors before, you've not used this before, every student will be required to create a parchment account, which is basically a software program that works between the high school and universities, scholarship programs, a lot of other entities for us to quickly send your transcript. So we will be asking, you guys will hear us send some more emails and announcements about this between now and the end of the year, but we're asking that every single junior create a parchment account. The QR code is here if you want to scan it. This slideshow will be available to everybody. You can click on the link there as well. And it's really very quick and easy. When you get to that site, it's a parchment account specific to Bloomfield Hills High School. So all you have to do is start here. It says start here and enter your email address. Use your Bloomfield email address, please, when you are setting up that account. And you'll be requesting your transcript through parchment for some schools, not necessarily all schools, but some schools will be requesting that you use parchment for us to send your transcript. So that's why we are requiring everyone to go ahead and make an account. Common application. So we're going to encourage you guys to create a common application account over the summer. This does not have to be done now. If you know people who have done it and you haven't, you're not behind. This is not your priority right now. This is us giving you this information so you can get going over the summer. Right now, your focus really is getting through your junior year and doing well. And these are the things you need to be thinking about doing. Since many of you will be using the common application to apply, you should create an account. You please use an email that is appropriate and professional. It is up to you if you use your Bloomfield account or a personal account. It doesn't necessarily matter, but using one that is professional and appropriate is something that definitely matters. If you are going to create an account, a Common App account, anytime now and moving forward, I'm going to show you a couple screens in a minute, but there's only one part of the application that we would really want you to work on now because it actually is not fully open and available until August 1st for the next application cycle. So in addition to actually completing your application on the Common App, that's also how some of you will be requesting your transcript through the Common App. That's also how you'll be requesting letters of recommendation. So if you've heard prior students, seniors in the past talking about like requesting it through Naviance, expunge any of that information from your memory. That's not the process you guys will be using. So you will be requesting all letters through the Common Application. If you have a school that's requiring a teacher letter, that teacher will be requested specifically through the section. Your counselor will be requested, and that's important because that's where we're sending your letter and your transcript. And then some students ask questions about having a coach, a club advisor, an employer, someone else outside of a teacher or counselor capacity to write a recommendation letter, and that would be fine. And there's a section that offers the opportunity to invite other recommenders outside of the school. So that's something that you could do as well. So a couple of screenshots of the Common App. It kind of got a little bit of a facelift this year. I haven't seen it fully, but these are a couple pictures that I found. On the very left side, you'll see two sections under Apply. It might be hard to see, but the first one says My Common App, and the second one says My Colleges. I'm going to go to this one for a second. The Common Application, all those sections on the left, those are all the parts of the application you guys will be working through. And this is why it's a good idea to get started over the summer. There's a bunch of different sections, not anything that's something to be super stressed out about. If you work through this timely and progressively, you'll be able to conquer this without a problem. But those are the sections that I mentioned before. That's the general application you could be working on over the summer before it opens, anything in this section. Anything that says under my colleges, where you would click on any of these colleges, is information specific to that particular college. And those are the things that wouldn't necessarily be available until after August 1st. So that's just two little snapshots of what you can expect to see when you start to create your Common App account. And Mrs. Brooks.
Okay, four-year colleges, factors that are considered for admissions. In general, most students think of their transcript as well as their test scores as the only things that are used to evaluate them for admissions, but that is not accurate. Colleges usually do what they call a holistic review, where they're looking at all different aspects of a student. For example, as the list here shows, academic achievement is one factor, but they also look at the rigor and the context. And what that means is, how many challenging classes does a student take? Over the 4 years that they're in high school, are they starting to challenge themselves in the courses that they select, and how well are they doing within those courses? Context really means within the capacity of your school, what are some of the advanced classes that your school offers, and how many are you taking advantage of? Personal attributes. So what is unique about you? What can you share with a college that could be beneficial for them if they were to admit you to their school? The curriculum and trend I've already mentioned, your intellectual curiosity, how, I guess, diverse is your transcript? Are you a student who takes classes in many different disciplines and does well? Your service and leadership, which is your community service, any examples of leadership that you can show within your college application are also considered. Your academic potential. Every student isn't going to be a 4.0. But are you doing the best that you can within the courses that you take? Are you showing improvement throughout your 4 years of high school? The diversity, again, I mentioned as far as the amount of the different type of courses that you enroll in and choose. The geographic balance, so they usually, they try to have students that are from various different backgrounds that are going to, again, bring something different to their college campus. Whether or not you're a first-generation student, if no one else in your family has gone and graduated from a college. Low income, if you're an athlete, if you're an artist. So again, they look at the holistic person when they're evaluating you for admission. So yes, your transcript is important. Yes, your grades are important. A test score, if it's required from a school, is also important, but they look beyond that, and they also, again, consider these things that are listed here. Teacher letters of recommendation. So when students were provided that purple handbook that Mr. Fitzgerald shared with you earlier, we also talked to them about selecting one or two teachers, and preferably from your junior year, that you might ask to write a letter of recommendation for you if it's required for your college application. Typically, we recommend that you look at an academic teacher. So, for example, a social studies, math, English, science teacher. But if you are a student who may be pursuing a career interest in the arts, then your ceramics teacher may be that core teacher for you. So again, those conversations, we ask that you initiate them in person and that you try to select those teachers or have that conversation before you leave school this June. Counselor letters of recommendation. So many colleges do require a letter of recommendation from your counselor. How will we know that you need one? We have questionnaires these are active links here on the slides, and there's a student questionnaire, and there's also a parent or guardian questionnaire. And these are important because this allows us to write a very personalized letter on your behalf. We ask that you, if you possibly can, provide both of these documents to us, because sometimes we'll find on the parent or in this guardian questionnaire, there may be some information that a parent may share that a student didn't think was important. And that, again, helps us to write very personalized letters for each of our students. And again, if those are possibly able to be given to us before you leave in June, that would be helpful, because many of us may start writing our letters over the summer. The college essay, personal statement. It was mentioned earlier that we're going to have a college boot camp, and we've had that for maybe about the last 4 or 5 years, where there's an opportunity for students that want to get a jump start on their college applications to attend in the summer, and that's going to be August the 4th, and we have a link a little further in the slides where you can register for that. But during that workshop, we will have an English teacher that will help students working on their personal statement. These are just some myths about personal statements. So again, these are not accurate, but it says the essay should sound sophisticated. Students need an impressive topic. Admission officers do not read them. Colleges do not know if students get too much help. There's a secret formula. None of this is true. They really want to hear the student's voice. It's nothing wrong with having another person review your personal statement, but again, it should be written by yourself, not AI, not ChatGTP, or I'm saying it right? That one. But nonetheless, they want to hear your own voice when you're writing your essay. And again, it gets the reader an opportunity to get to know you better as a person. So again, it needs to be in your own words. The college essay, personal statement, some tips. You need to make sure you understand the prompt and that you're responding to that prompt when you're writing your essay. Brainstorm ideas, focus on the theme. Again, use your own voice. Think about, what do I want people to know about me? Because unfortunately, these college admissions reps that are reviewing your application don't get a chance to meet you or have an interview with you. So you need to look at your personal statement as a way for you to really give them some insight as to who you are and how you can make their college a better place by admitting you. Again, have a peer or an adult read your work, and again, don't use AI. Test optional. So many colleges now are going to the option of students sending a test score or not. Not all colleges require an ACT or an SAT score. There is a live link here as well to the Fair Test website, where you can get a list of schools that are optional as far as the test being reported to them. But again, we advise that you consult the college's website directly for updated information in case that has changed for the school. Now, how do you know whether or not you should submit a test score or not? Typically, admissions reps share with us if that test score can enhance your application, then it's probably a good idea then for you to consider submitting it. But if, for example, you have a test score that falls significantly below maybe what an average test score is for admission to that school, then you have to decide, is it really helpful for me to submit that test score? Probably not, but that's something that you have to decide for you based upon what the criteria is for admissions to that school. And now I will turn it over to Mr. Medea.
So moving from applying test optional to regular just applying, what you'll see on your screen are 5 different methods. And the one on the far right isn't used too much, so we won't spend a lot of time on that. But moving from left to right, regular decision. Regular decision is a non-binding application process with usually early spring, winter deadline. An example of this would be U of M, February 1st. And then rolling admissions are applications that are reviewed as they're received without a hard deadline. So as the applications come in and more seats become less available, then obviously it becomes harder and harder to get in to those schools that apply that way. Early action is a binding decision. Early action is a non-binding decision that allows people to put their application in by a certain date, usually November the 1st, and guaranteed with an answer by the end of January. Early decision is binding, and what that means is if I apply early decision to a school, I'm exclusively declaring that that school is my number one choice. And if I am admitted there, I would rescind all other offers into any other colleges that would compete with that school. And we just call that as a binding commitment. Restrictive early action is a non-binding commitment until May 1st that allows, in certain Tier 1 schools, Georgetown, Princeton, Notre Dame, places like that, they will still allow for the application to be, for the student to put in the application to a school that would be a public college, all of those being private. Things to do over the summer. If you haven't, visit some colleges. It's good to compare. Some people already know by the time the summer comes. Some are deciding between, one example would be Grand Valley and Central Michigan. Similar, one's a little bit larger than the other. They have a lot of things that are definitely the same, but really can't decide. It's good to go and take a look at those differences. Complete student parent questionnaires and guardian questionnaires. We really use these to help write your letters of recommendation. So we ask that you really try to get these into us, not waiting till September. It really helps us help you put your application all together. Create a resume. Do some community service. Participate in an internship. Colleges like applicants that are well-rounded. The resume, I like to think of, if you're applying to a Tier 1 school, your Notre Dames, Michigans, Wisconsins, places like that, you're going to get two types of applications. One that has the application, looks pretty good, and one of the students that took the time to write the resume. And for most colleges that are getting these applicants, everybody is really competitive. They're really good applicants, but the person that takes the time to write that resume really helps them stand above the crowd. More things to do over the summer, and as Mrs. Klein alluded to, and the Common App portion of that website allows you to put in generic information. So all your demographic information, email address, personal information, that can all go in before August 1st. It does not go live until August 1st, so when you get to the part where you have the colleges tab in that application on the website, wait till August 1st to do that. We already talked about appropriate email addresses. For non-Common App schools, check their websites to when their applications go live and when they're ready to accept applications. Mandatory senior meeting will be in September. You'll get a copy of your transcript. You're going to want to check it carefully, make sure all the grades, everything is as it should be. If it isn't, no need to panic. We'll send you back to the original teacher and you can talk to them about getting that grade rectified however it should be. Watch for deadlines, really, really important. What happens is students will put in their application. They'll think everything is good. Teacher recommendations have gone, but they don't check their portal. So once you put in the application, you're going to get a student number and an application number, and they expect you to check that application periodically to make sure that all the documents are in. Test scores, transcripts, letters of recommendation. It's the student's responsibility to make sure that all of those documents are received. Every year we get a few students who, well, it's Thanksgiving and gee, they didn't get this application. We're running up against the deadline. You don't want that to happen. And don't worry, transcripts will get there. They will not be sent before the senior meeting, even though you might request them in August. We need the time, the administration needs the time to make sure that everybody's settled in their schedules, because on your transcript, we print what's called a work in progress, which shows the college the classes that you're taking your senior year. They need to see that. Which leads to the next slide. Don't catch senioritis. And in the bottom it says, junior year gets you in, senior year keeps you in. What you don't want to do is kick your feet up and say, well, it looks like I'm in, everything's going good, I got a conditional admit, and I'm just going to take it easy. Not a good thing. Had a student many years ago, got a call on the 7th of July. What happened with so-and-so? Their AP Psych went from an A first semester to a D- second. They're going to committee. And you don't ever want to hear that. They're going to committee. And next thing I know, 2 hours later, the student's calling my number saying, on the phone crying, saying, well, what happened? Well, I don't know. And so they ended up getting in, but it was not a fun thing for them to go through. And this alludes to my other point. Just check your status of your application online. It's really important. Don't let things wait. When in doubt, call. If they give you a conditional, you're in, and there's still documents waiting, they want you. So don't be afraid to call and ask if you have questions. It takes time, too. It takes more than a week, very oftentimes. Last thing, NCAA. If you think that you are wanting to participate in college athletics, talk to your varsity coach about where you might attend. The NCAA is in charge of your initial eligibility. That means you having all of the proper classes that you need to be able to participate in college athletics. You have to have so many courses in so many core areas. We do not calculate this for you in the counseling office, but we provide guidance with giving you the proper information. Every year at college night, we have a speaker that comes from a Division I school to talk about all the requirements for Division I, Division II, and Division III. If you're admitted, then you're eligible. But for those two divisions and what the NCAA requirements are to attain initial eligibility to be able to participate in athletics in college. The application is $100 on the NCAA Clearinghouse website. And so by the end of junior year, you want to have that application up and running so that we can send your transcript for you. And without further ado, Mr. Fogel.
Okay, so the hard work has been done. Let's fast forward to next year. You've done all these applications, you've created all the needed accounts, you've worked closely with your guidance counselor, and you've said your prayers if you choose to, and now you're waiting to hear back from the colleges. So what can they say? Well, they can make the smart decision and admit you, which would be an opportunity to be congratulated and celebrate. And if you plan to attend that particular college, you need to go ahead and make a small enrollment deposit to save your spot. There is a national reply deadline of May 1st, where colleges would keep you active until that date. But if you know well beforehand, there's no reason not to go ahead and commit to that college and get it official and choose your orientation date and your housing plans for that university and get that done as soon as you can. If you know you'll not attend another college that may have admitted you, we recommend you contact that college and withdraw your application so that another spot could be opened up to another student that is waiting. It could be your best friend, your colleague here at the school, or a neighbor of yours. So let's think about that. Also, if you applied that ED, which stands for early decision, the binding agreement between you and that university, and you've been admitted, that concludes your application process with every other college. You would need to then withdraw those applications, indicating you will attend university or college studies elsewhere, and again, opening up a spot for another student. The other option colleges could provide you with the decision is called deferred. Some use the terminology postponed. which is simply saying that the college has not yet made a decision. This is often disappointing for some students, but we try to counsel them to look at the sunny side of things because they weren't denied, right? They could have been outright denied, but the student has been deferred, meaning that the college has interest in admitting you eventually with some more information. And that information generally is your mid-year transcript. So that first semester of senior year being completed, they want to see if your grades have maintained what you've been doing, even an upward trend, or unfortunately, if there was a downward trend and that senioritis caught you, that would have an impact on their final decision. So they might want other information. It'll be very clear to you in their admissions decision on what they need by a certain date to complete your review process. Your application has been moved in this status to the next cycle, which is often going to be later in that winter timeframe, even early spring, giving you still time before May 1st to make a decision about attending that college or a different institution. So it's good to keep an eye on all those decisions as they roll in. Make yourself a spreadsheet and go ahead and keep track of where you stand at each of your interested college applications. The last one is waitlisted, which is not as promising, unfortunately, as the accepted or the deferred or postponed route. However, it is not a denial as well, and they're indicating that you are admissible to their college. However, with the large number of applications, they simply ran out of space for you as it stands in that spring timeline of receiving this decision. Oftentimes, this can spill into past the May 1st enrollment deadline at another institution. So you would go ahead and enroll at one of your other institutions that you've applied and been accepted to, and you made your deposit. Many times that is a non-refundable deposit, but it's a small amount. It's not thousands of dollars. So you might be forfeiting that if you get in off the wait list to your dream school that you've been hanging on for. And sometimes that occurs even after that graduation party where all the balloons were one color and the sweatshirt said something else. And guess what? You've been called off the wait list in July. And it would be an opportunity for you to make another decision about, do I change? Do I take them up on their offer? So it's a good process to discern that with your family. If indeed you get that waitlist decision, it's one that you want to make a thoughtful decision on, because you would then cancel plans with that other university, which then could have that domino effect of opening up a waitlist spot for a student that was waiting to get into that university. So there's a lot of moving puzzle pieces to this whole operation. The wait list many times does not even get called on at some of the universities, the highly selective universities. Some go into only 1 or 2% of their waitlisted students. So the advice from our office generally is don't bank on that wait list, keep it as an option, but I wouldn't plan for a guaranteed spot off the wait list. So as soon as you have made that decision on which college you will attend, we encourage sending that enrollment deposit soon so that you can check that off on your process. Really, May 1st is that deadline. We've had some crisis cases May 2nd in our office where the enrollment deposit never was made and your spot was given to someone else. So you want to keep that May 1 deadline fresh in your mind. And then again, we're encouraging to inform the other schools that you may have been accepted to, that you've made your decision, you've enrolled elsewhere, thank them for the offer. It's really a sentence or two email to their admissions office so that they can move on with other students waiting for good news from that particular institution that have been deferred or waitlisted themselves. So in the summer, fall, we'll have some opportunities for students in your class to get some more educational advancement on this whole college application process. The first one, the QR code here, is a sign-up list for our college boot camp on August 4th. So we ask students to sign up, the students, not the parents. So you'll have to have a bloomfield.org email address to get access to the Google form. So please access this form and sign up. The deadline to sign up for this is July 1st, so you don't have to decide right now if you're not sure of your vacation plans in that first week in August. But we welcome all members of the class of 26 to attend our boot camp and get the August month rolling, working on those college applications that open up with the Common App of August the 1st. College night will be going on in October, on October 7th. We'll have well over 75 colleges that attend and are able to interact with you, the student, and the families are invited to come as well. And bring your siblings, your family is welcome to come and interact with these colleges that we'll have set up in the cafeteria, or I'm sorry, the gymnasium and other areas around the school to meet with the admissions rep. Many of them will be the same folks that are reading your applications. An opportunity to put your face with your name when you send the application in later that fall. Financial aid night will be at the end of September, on September 23rd. We're talking a lot about applying to colleges and going to colleges, but how do you pay for this educational endeavor? Well, we'll walk you through some steps that are needed with the financial aid night. We bring in a representative from the financial aid office of a local university, Oakland U, but they won't be just pushing Oakland University. It's a financial aid process that's used at every college across the country, filling out what's known as the FAFSA, which is the Free Federal Application for Student Aid. Also, throughout the months of September and October, dipping into the first part of November, we will host tens and tens of universities and colleges that will come into our building during the school day. Also, an opportunity to meet with the admissions reps that will review your applications in a more informal setting, sitting down in our CRC or in different locations in the school where you can ask questions and hear their presentation. So please keep an eye on that and register and sign up for those visits so you're excused from class to attend those college visits during the school day. Attend in-person or virtual campus tours as well. As mentioned earlier, in the summer is a great opportunity to see these colleges firsthand, whether you're there in person or even a virtual tour. There is that uniqueness of going onto a school campus during the class session is a little different than the summer session, but if you can arrange that, I know the high school does provide excused absences for a confirmed college visit during a school day, and that opportunity is something we recommend taking up so you can learn about that college firsthand. And apply for scholarships throughout these months of summer and early fall. There's applications for scholarships that are separate process from the application for the admissions office. So we encourage you to use the time that you have without having school every single day in the months of certainly July and August. Stay informed and connected with our office here at Bloomfield Hills High School. We use email as the best method. We do not have all your cell phone numbers. We're not going to text you, unfortunately. Maybe one day we'll get there, but right now, in the school setting, in a professional workforce, your parents can tell you it's email. Many jobs could not probably exist now without email. I don't know what did we do in the 90s, but somehow we survived. But now in 25 and 26, email is going to be the way we administer most of our information to you, whether it's a regular email check, daily, should be built into your habit. As well, Canvas. Canvas is our learning management system that students use for their classes, and we use it for the guidance office as well. We have a Canvas page entitled Counseling Class of 2026. You should be checking that as well, certainly when we start back in school that first week in September. For any additional support or important information will be posted to Canvas. And parents have Canvas access as well, and you can access all the same tiles or dashboard, which are including all the classes your son or daughter is registered for, as well as the counseling Canvas page. Just read those Canvas emails and announcements so that you don't miss anything of importance. So we can't stress that enough. Would hate for you to miss out on a great scholarship opportunity because you didn't check your email or the Canvas. That's how we're going to disseminate the information to you, so please take heed of that advice. So a little bit more about paying for that college as a follow-up to the financial aid night in September we will be providing to your class. We do post our scholarships that we become aware of on our Canvas page. We also encourage you to check directly those maybe 5 or 7 colleges that you are really targeting to see what their college offers for a scholarship. Many of them have their application admissions page, but they also have a website page dedicated to scholarships that all you have to do is click on and fill out an application. Maybe send an essay. Some of them are essay free. It's just a matter of doing the research. There's some national search engines for college scholarships that we really recommend you becoming familiar with. These are free website searches. We would never encourage you to pay for a scholarship. Scholarships are providing financial resources to you. So there are some unscrupulous organizations out there that want to collect your money to give you money. We advise you to be very cautious with that. But FastWeb and Niche, or I say Niche, but student scholarships, these are links right here where you can click on the link and get right and create a free account and get your information out on the scholarship searches, as well as the high school counseling website page, and of course that September 23rd financial aid night that we will be hosting. The FAFSA is that free federal student aid site I mentioned. You'll be asked to fill that out to receive any federal grants or aid that can come from that, as well as work-study programs and low-interest student and parent loans come from the FAFSA. And the state of Michigan has their own Michigan Secondary School Scholarships website. And that is a link to that site as well when you can access that through the presentation. Some more helpful resources. These are all hyperlinks, so you're able to click on College Board's Big Future website. There's the Common Application essay prompts, which have been already posted, as we said, for next year. There's some great resources here on the test optional page, the planning for college, the student questionnaire and the parent questionnaire. Links are here, and understanding the college admissions deadlines. Links are all available to you. As a reminder, this entire slideshow will be posted on our website so that you can access these electronically and get those links. As well, video recording of the whole presentation will be posted on the school's website. We will also post them into the Canvas page, the Counseling Class of 2026, so you can rewatch any of this information that you may have missed. We're not ready to leave you yet. Mr. Medea has a game we want to play. Who's up for a game?
Do we have to lift the screen, do you think? I'll tell our Marty. Marty, can you lift the screen, please? So this is a time-honored BHHS tradition. And we call this the college admissions game, which tells you about the game of college admissions. So we're going to get on with it here in a quick second. And hopefully you'll figure this out as we go along, okay? So here we go. So on the front of their card tells their GPA, and on the back are things about their person and their personality, okay? So if the following applies to you students, you have to look on the back and be able to read what it says. Do what it says. If you have taken an exceptionally strong academic program, move up 2 spaces. There you go. Okay. If you direct the gospel choir at your church, move up 1 space. If you embellished your activities on your application to look better, move down 1 space. Oh boy. If you're a highly ranked harpist, move up 1 space. Somebody there's a harp. Okay, Mr. Fogel. All right. You made an early decision commitment to your first choice college. Move up 1 space. I guess it's good to know what you want to do. If you are in the top 20% of your class and you are applying to a very selective school, move down 1 space. If you are a legacy to the college you are applying, move up 1 space. You have visited the college and had an alumni interview and filled out the questionnaires on the college website. Move up 1 space. If you did not write the optional college essay, move down 1 space. Okay, it's now early October. Here we go. You baked pies and delivered them to the admissions office, trying to say you're not an athlete, but a great baker. Take 2 steps back. They kept your pies and ate them, though. If the topic of your college essay was sports as a metaphor for life, move down 1 space. Your teacher recommendation said, he or she is one of the best students I've ever taught. Move up 1 space. If you will be the first in your family to attend college, move up 2 spaces. If you dug latrines in Africa in a summer program between your junior and senior years only, move down 1 space. If you are an international student, you applied to all public Ivies, move up 2 spaces. If you are an Eagle Scout, move up 2 spaces. You are applying to an out-of-state public university, move up 1 space. If you are a female athlete going to a D1 rowing school but never rowed before, but scored great on an ergometer test, move up 2 spaces. Your essay speaks to how you love to bake bread. The admissions officer who was reading the essay happened to have French bread baking in the oven at the time of the reading. Move up 2 spaces. You have a non-flattering video of your high school post-prom party posted on TikTok under your name. Move down 2 spaces. You love to play Rubik's Cube, so you formed a club and had a competition, collected donations, got sponsors, and used the club to raise money and awareness for a worthy cause. Move up 2 spaces. I don't know if the kids even know what a Rubik's Cube is anymore. If you come from a single-parent household and must work part-time to help with expenses, move up 2 spaces. You have a bulldozer parent, move down 2 spaces. To the admissions office, your essay sounds like it was written by people who were prematurely middle-aged. You are out. Sorry. Just put it right there. Yeah, thanks. Your teacher wrote, he or she is not just an athlete. There is so much less here than meets the eye. Over time, he or she has developed a set of friends who have learned to tolerate and even accept him or her. You are out. If you had used ChatGPT to write your essay and the college has determined that it was written by an AI, you are out. If your counselor has to explain the reason for discipline given at school, you are out. You failed to meet the academic standards, including rigor, GPA, and test scores, you are out. If, when you wrote your college essay, you forgot to change the name of the college you were applying to, you are out. The college library is named after your grandfather, who is active in alumni relations. Move all the way to the front of the line and stay there. You are our winner. Congratulations. Thank you guys for volunteering. And does Mrs. Klein have them all? Okay, we want to leave you with just one last thing, and it's a little story, and I think it's appropriate. And as I read this, I can honestly say I think that every one of us probably in the office has experienced this. And it's not to make accusations to anybody, but it's just to kind of to help us remember and take a step back. This is a time, I think, in young people's lives that should be a very happy time. And oftentimes what we see in the office, it is just the opposite of that. I'll just give you a little context of this. This is a true story, and it's written in this book, Where You Go Is Not Who You Will Be. It's a good summer read if you're interested in it, and it kind of talks about where the college admissions process has been going for a couple of years. So just, if you don't mind, bear with me. And it's just for what it's worth. In March 2014, just before Matt Levin was due to start hearing from schools to which he applied, his parents, Craig and Diana, handed him a letter. They did not care whether he read it right away, but they wanted him to know that it had been written before they found out how he fared. It was their response to the outsized yearning and dread that they saw in him and in so many of the college-bound kids at Cold Spring Harbor High School in Long Island, suburb north of New York City. It was their bid for some sanity. Matt, like many of his peers, was shooting for the Ivies, in this case, Yale, Princeton, or Brown. Had he laid the groundwork, he punched all the necessary holes, good SAT scores. After studying with a private tutor, which was pro forma for kids in his upper middle class community, he had scored close to the median for students at the Ivies in his sights. Sports, he was on the varsity baseball team, toggling between second baseman and shortstop. Music, he played alto sax in Spring Harbor's bands. Academics, he was the recipient of a special prize for junior year students with the highest grade point averages, and he was a member of pretty much every honor society at the school. Character, he had logged more than 100 hours of community service. Yet for Yale, Princeton, and Brown, it still wasn't enough. Matt's top 3 choices all turned him down. His mother, Diana, told me on that day that when he got the news, he shut me out for the first time in 17 years. He barely looked at me and said, "Don't talk to me and don't touch me." Then he disappeared to take a shower and literally drowned his sorrows for the next 45 minutes. He kept to himself all that evening and tried to summon the energy to study for a physics test. He went to bed after midnight, still mute and withdrawn. The next morning he rallied, left the house wearing a sweatshirt with the name of the school that had been his fourth choice and had accepted him, Lehigh University. By then he had read his parents' letter more than once. That they felt compelled to write it says much about our society's warped obsession with elite colleges as it does about the Levin's warmth, wisdom, and generosity. I share parts of it because it is a message in them that is one that many kids, in addition to their son, need to hear. Dear Matt, on the night before you received your first college response, we wanted to let you know that we could not be any prouder of you than we are today. Whether you get accepted does not determine how proud we are of everything you have accomplished and the wonderful person that you have become. That will not change based on what an admissions officer decides about your future. We will celebrate with joy wherever you get accepted, and the happier you are with those responses, the happier we will be. But your worth as a person, a student, and our son is not diminished or influenced in the least by what these colleges have decided. If it does not go your way, you'll take a different route and get to where you want. There is not a single college in this country that would not be lucky to have you, and you are capable of succeeding at any of them. We love you as deep as the ocean, as high as the sky, and all the way around the world and back again to wherever you are headed. And we have these conversations with our students every single fall about you're going to be fine, anybody is going to be lucky to have you, and it's not who you are as a person. So just for what it's worth, students that are applying know that, and you're going to be right where you need to be. Thank you for coming. Have a pleasant evening.